check him out on Instagram right now. But he's yet to join our Discord, but I'm sure he will.
We got to pry
He's
him.
on Instagram at the Box Crate. Yeah, we got to pry him on to over on the West Box Score Discord. If you thought it was crazy when I joined, man, when Sonny joins, it's going to be ridiculous. We're going to have to make a separate channel just for vinyl collection, dude. Thank you for downloading and listening to West Box Score. I'm Alex Gonzalez, back on the podcast. If the last 2 weeks have showed us anything, the real two stars of the show are Sonny Hermano, Donald Paz, D-Bot. What's up, D-Bot?
Yo, what's going on, man? How you been, brother?
I've been okay, man. Thank you so much for holding down the ship here. You and Sonny Hermano have done an excellent job. I'm serious when I say the podcast has never sounded so good with just the two of you guys on. It's listenable now. You're going to have to listen to the ramblings of a homer like myself, who just is super hyper focused on LA teams, and that's it. Only we can do right, and everybody else is wrong. So I love the way you guys are way more unbiased than I am. So it's been a way more enjoyable listening experience, I got to say, as a fan of the show itself, too.
I don't know, man. I would say there's a good balance when you're on. I think when Sonny and I are on, it definitely gets NBA heavy, and then on
For
top
sure.
of that, like I think I can make I feel like I come in. You come in with a lot of energy, like, you know, and because you're so hyped every time we do these things. And I come in kind of like an NPR, host,
Because you're a serious sports journalist, man.
I know. It's like a very analytical.
You're here for the facts. You're a D-Bot. You are the D-Bot. You come in with straight statistics, the facts only, none of this. Don't get your emotions out of here. You're too, me, I'm very emotional. I'm a very emotional man. As you know this, I get hyped for the show. I get hyped watching my teams. So stats, who cares? Throw that out the window. I run on base all emotion, man. It's all about the feeling of the team and the chemistry. That's all. It's stats, positions, none of that matters. Analytics, get that out of here. Cybermetrics, get out of here. No, who's got the hot hand? Throw that guy on the mound. That's how I would run a team, and that's why I'd be in last place, like my fantasy hockey team. Sad to say. So, and where is D-Bot in that fantasy hockey league? Near the top. Number one, last I checked, I think you fell to number 2 seed, I think, last time I checked.
I need to look
I'm
at my lines.
telling you, man.
I need to look at them now.
You know who's number one? The last I checked was our good buddy Rick Esparza. Number one now. He's up there. The Southside Goons are up there now. So look out. Jeez. Look out. I don't know if he's watching your analytics, dude.
He's taking my strategy. I know it.
You got to cover your homework, dude, with your elbow there, so he's not copying off you like he normally isn't back in the day in school. I saw him. Doing that all the time. Man, D-Bot, it's good to see and talk to you, man. Thank you so much for holding down the fort. You and Sonny Hermano did a great job, like I was saying. We got very basketball heavy. I'm not going to lie. In those episodes I was listening to, it's like, man, it's like this Lakers talk is awesome. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You guys moved on to like NFL stuff afterwards too. So I appreciated that, man, to hear about my Rams and the terrible dealings they've been making. But
yeah, man, I definitely want to get your thoughts on that when we get to the football part.
When we get to the football talk.
I want to hear. I feel like we've been kind of reporting on it, but I think we need the raw homer take that you give to the show. So
absolutely, the biased eyes that I see my Rams with. So because the basketball heavy podcast that it's been lately, we got to keep it basketball heavy to start, because the Lakers are making moves now because LeBron is carrying the team on his back, right? We're going to ride LeBron all the way into the playoffs. Yeah. Or so we thought. Man, I mean, he got trying to carry the team on his back. His ankle blew out on him, right? It made sense.
Yeah.
Man, so you guys talked about that last time. LeBron's out for an undetermined amount of time, but the cavalry is arriving, right, D-Bot?
Yes, it is. It is. If you guys have not heard, the Los Angeles Lakers, they got another big man, Andre Drummond. I know he was rumored for a while. As far as the rumors we already knew there was reported that there was going to be a buyout with the Cavaliers. So he was going to be out, free agent, and then who was going to get him? And I believe Lakers and Celtics were front runners, and I'm really glad that the Lakers got him, because definitely the Lakers needed another big man. I mean, a big part of that championship team last year was that there was JaVale, Dwight. But for the most part, like, I think it's, really good to have a third guy, because to be honest, like Marc Gasol, he's good, but definitely the age is showing. And it's tough when you're that old and you're also that big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's different. Short guys also age a little differently. We see Chris Paul, he still looks serviceable for his age, and he's really good. But the Lakers needed to do something. I feel that Montrezl Harrell, for as great as he is, he's been really honest with himself and saying that he wants to come off the bench, doesn't want to be a starter, and it shows. Like he does really well coming off the bench, and that's just who he is. And I think I appreciate when a player can be honest with themselves like that and doesn't want to fight for that starting role, and is more like, I know where my place is at in this team for it to succeed, and that's what I want to do and flourish in it. So big ups to Montrez. But yeah, the Lakers have their big man, Andre Drummond. We're really excited for him to play. He didn't play last night against the Orlando Magic, but the Lakers did win out 96-93. An ugly win, though, by the way, given that the Orlando Magic had a fire sale at the trade deadline. They got rid of all their big guys, all their all-stars. And to see that the Lakers barely edged out with a 3-point win, tells you a lot. Like you said at the top of this discussion with LeBron, if we can carry him into the playoffs, I don't know about it. But it is interesting, and man, it definitely shows. I mean, it's been showing that without LeBron and AD, this team is not where it should be.
Well, like you guys mentioned in the last cast, that this basketball is like unlike any other sport where two top guys go down and the whole team kind of crumbles, right? Like it's your team's only as strong as your top superstars.
Yeah.
And their two top superstars being down, it's showing as like the Lakers were able to still get the win, which is a feat in itself, right? The team came together and gutted out a win, which granted, it should have been an easier win, right? But in the win column, it's going to show up as one. So big ups to them to get it done. Now, they got Milwaukee coming up next. That one's going to be scary. Drummond should hopefully be in that game. I don't know if he has to pass any COVID protocols or what have you. I mean, is he going to have one practice underneath his belt to even get an idea of what kind of strategy Coach Vogel wants to, employ with him? That's going to be interesting, but we could kind of chalk that up as a potential loss, right? Like, that's going to be a tough one for the Lakers to come out with a win, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Milwaukee is a good team, very formidable in the East. I know the Knicks beat them yesterday too, but that was because they didn't, they sat out Giannis, Chris Middleton. I believe Drew Holiday also sat out. So it's of course that team flourishes when their superstars are on the floor. So it's just really tough. I don't know if the Lakers have an answer to Giannis. It's going to be interesting to see. A lot of the Lakers' issues is just getting their J's, man. They just got to get those jumpers in. I mean, they can get those in, then it's easy for them to just kind of like win. But when they don't get the shots in, it's really tough. And that's the only thing that I could say about this team. It's just, man, it's just tough to watch these games without LeBron or AD on the floor.
Yeah.
And at the same time, even just as like a viewer, I don't even have like tickets to go to Staples, but just as a viewer, it makes me feel like, do I really want to watch this game right now, given that like the superstars aren't there? And that's kind of why there's like a draw. Even like I feel for like the TNT guys, that have to do these broadcasts, and they're like, oh yeah, that's right, we have this game scheduled, but the two superstars that we would love to rave about throughout the game are not here. And you can only say so much about them sitting on the bench, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is where it comes down to the sports as a business, right? And you want eyes on your product. And the Lakers are essentially a TV product, or a live sporting event product. And if they don't have superstars to get you to tune in and watch, or when you're able to go to the games, like you're not going to appeal to the masses. You're not going to appeal even to your hardcore fans. It's like yourself and Sonny. Well, I'm sure Sonny's watching every single game, kind of hate watching it, as I'm sure he is, because he's such a hardcore fan. But this is where you earn your stripes as a hardcore fan, right?
Exactly.
When you're sitting through these terrible teams, is like just to get to that pinnacle of them getting it all together and getting a championship to show for it.
Yeah.
So, man, we're earning our stripes right now, purple and gold right now. And like I said, I watch some of the games when I can, but man, without, like you said, to your point, man, without LeBron, that star power. But I will be watching Wednesday. I got to see how Drummond looks against Giannis, because I love the way, welcome to the Lakers, go guard Giannis now, right?
Yeah,
because I'm sure that will be his first defensive matchup, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, it will be. I think it's going to be good. I mean, I think Laker Nation is excited. I know for the most part, a lot of Laker fans on Twitter do the memes. They've been doing all the same memes these past couple of games of putting like the starting five of like what it was during those dark Kobe years, when they were trying to rebuild and getting all these
Smush
kind of like
Parkers.
Yeah, exactly. You see all those like Jody Meeks, and it's like the way back then like Spectrum would like highlight them, like look at the starting five, and these are gonna be the and like you had to like as a fan, as an analyst, as a broadcaster, you had to really hype that up, like those guys up as much as you can, even though you knew like in your heart like, man, this team needs more
You know
help.
what I loved back in those dark days was Ronnie Turioff. Is that his name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like that guy, man. He played. I mean, he played with a lot of like energy off the bench. Usually, he was off the bench. I felt like he mainly was a bench guy, but I liked his energy, man.
Yeah.
And those were dark, like you said, dark days to be watching the Lakers. But you look for players like that who have a spark, right? I mean, I think the guy who I watch now who has a lot of that spark is Caruso, right? Like he comes out, he plays with so much energy and vigor that, like, come on, man, like, come on. Even the Lakers might obviously take the L against especially a depleted team like the way they are right now, but you hope this guy sparks the team, because that's what they are, spark plugs, right, to the team. And like they feed off that energy, and like, come on guys, let's gut out a win even against the lowly Orlando Magic like they had the other night. So let's see, or just be competitive against these teams that you're probably going to lose to, but just put some effort out there.
Yeah.
As Galaxy fans, you and I, we know about sitting through tough efforts and lack thereof sometimes, man.
For real.
But speaking of, so keeping it on the hardwood now, how about this UCLA and USC college basketball teams doing the damn thing in March Madness? They're dancing. What are you checking this out, man? This is incredible, huh?
I am. I was like last week when we saw that they went to the Sweet 16. I already said like I like watching this tournament when it gets from the Sweet 16 and on. Elite 8, Final 4, championship. So I just thought that like it was insane seeing these games happen. It was kind of crazy because like I saw that they made it to the Sweet 16. And I felt like, man, I feel like this could be like their year to be at least at the Final Four. I don't know about after that. But if they can make it to the Final Four, that's a huge accomplishment, especially if both of them, given their LA teams, representing strong. It was insane to see these games over the weekend. UCLA, like, seriously, was just bananas. That game was crazy. UCLA, Alabama. It was like, I forgot the score was. I think it was like 60-57, I believe it was. And there was like 5 seconds left. Alabama has the ball, and they shoot up a 3-point shot at the buzzer. They make it, and then it's tied, and they go to overtime. And a lot of people say, why didn't UCLA foul to send the guy to the line for 2 shots? And if he made both, then it'd be 59-60 with 5 seconds or whatever, 3 seconds left. UCLA would have had the ball. They would have just killed the clock. No overtime needed, but I mean, it's college. So a lot can happen. But Alabama making that 3, tying it, going to overtime. Then obviously UCLA took care of it in overtime and got enough of a lead so that the Alabama wouldn't come back. So that was really exciting to watch. The USC game was just very dominant. Like they were just on it. I think I posted at the halftime score was like 61-48 against Oregon Ducks, and they just kind of kept that. They just kept that momentum going. They were up like 10, 15 points like throughout the whole second half. And like that was more of an easier win for USC. It just felt more like a landslide. The UCLA game was a little bit more exciting, but I am hyped to see that both of them are going to the Elite 8 to face off against. I don't know who they're going to face off really. I just know Gonzaga's there. They're like
they got some tough matchups, man.
So it's going to be insane.
So this is the first time both teams have made it to the Elite 8 in the same tournament, right? Like that's historic enough right there. And should both teams advance, they would meet in the Final Four matchup.
Yeah.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, man, before that happens, UCLA needs to take on number 1 ranked Michigan. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Dang. Okay.
And this USC needs to take on number 1 ranked Gonzaga. So, man,
it's like you're sending them to the wolves, man.
Right. As much as we would love to see that UCLA USC like Final Four matchup, think about how great that would sound, right?
Yeah.
That's on the level of a Clippers Lakers Western Conference Final, right? Like
Yeah.
on that level, the rivalry with the highest stakes possible, right?
Yeah.
But man, they have some mountains to climb there.
That's insane. That's definitely like the 1-2 that you would say are gonna meet at the championship, Michigan and Gonzaga. And it's crazy to see that they're both gonna play each team. Which I don't know, man. It just feels like that's a mission right there.
I would love to hear Sonny's gambling takes on this. The odds must be so stacked against UCLA and USC to advance that if you parlay those two, the payout must be ridiculous.
It should
so
be.
Me as a very novice betting fan kind of wants to take that bet.
Yeah.
It's so nuts. Just for the payout, right?
Yeah,
It's just like how nutty that would be and how euphoric it would be to see that matchup. Man, it's a win-win. You can't lose money.
You can't.
I mean, you can. It's called.
You can. That's true. I mean, it's a thing. Like the way I see it is like you could take. I'm sure UCLA, USC are the underdogs for both these games.
Mm-hmm.
You take them. If you win, then you could say, hey, like I'm a genius. If you lose, then you could be like, all right, well, that's why they're the underdogs because they were not expected to win. So.
And I mean, at the betting odds, man, I kind of curious to see what Vegas is saying about this. I mean, we have some time. If you're listening to this podcast, it might be a little late to get your bets in.
Yeah.
But if you go back in time in the time machine, this would have been the bet to make on the. What is that? The Gray Sports Almanac there and Back to the Future. That would have been the one to make, man. Biff Tannen would have helped you out there with this big underdog.
I got them right here. Michigan, 7-point favorite. And Gonzaga, a 9-point favorite.
Wow. So they have to cover that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Gonzaga -9, Michigan -7. So they're saying that Gonzaga by 2 3-point shots. No, 3 3-point shots.
Right.
So,
oh man, I like these odds. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna have to call a certain bookie by the name that I won't say his name. He's down by the port. That's all I'll say. And if you have to, if you can't pay, you lose your thumbs. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of realistic to see Gonzaga beat USC by 10 points. Like, just to, I could see them having a 10-point lead throughout the whole game and just never letting USC get in between that, not, covering it. But
that Mobley kid looked good, though. In just the bit of time I saw, man, he's got the all-around game. It'd be nice to see him in purple and gold one day.
Yeah, that's
nice. Why I watch these teams. It's like, oh, how would this guy look in the Lakers uniform, man?
Yeah,
so,
dude.
I mean, it's exciting to watch, man. It's hard for me to watch college basketball throughout the year, like it is for me to watch all basketball. I love the sport. It's so hard with all the other sports going on. But with college, in particular, it's so defensive heavy that if you're a true fan of the sport, you are watching it for that reason, right? Yeah. So big ups to you if you're a big college basketball fan. This is your bread and butter right now, man. I'm enjoying it as just a casual. So if this is your sport, man, this is nuts. This is good stuff right now. This is the cream of the crop. Elite 8.
Yeah.
Man, we'll see who gets there, man. Hopefully our LA teams are represented. Isn't there another? I feel like there's another Pacific 12 team that's gone this far. And Oregon State. State taking on Houston. Number 12 taking on number 2. Oregon State is number 12. So, man, Pac-12. Imagine potentially 3 teams in the Final Four.
That'd be insane, dude. That has to be historical right there.
Right? I'm not going to lie. I'm rooting for that. Even Oregon State. I can't stand the Beavers sometimes, but but I am sort of rooting for them for that triple team parlay. Let's make it happen. Yeah. Hey, Sonny, call your guy. We're going to place a bet.
That'd be fun.
All right, moving on to the beautiful game. From the game of the hardwood floor to the beautiful game on the pitch. International football is happening right now. Mexico, that's my team who I root for. When I don't root for the USA, I root for them a little bit. Christian Pulisic, Serginho Dest. How can you not root for a team like that? However, my heart original team is Italy.
Yeah.
And so they took on Wales over the weekend, and it was their first time, actually only their third loss under their current head coach, Gerardo Martino. And I got to say, this team like they couldn't figure it out against Wales, and they had chances but just couldn't finish. And I'm really curious to see how this team looks against Costa Rica coming up next, just because. And what I did like too about Mexico, they had their Gold Cup patch on their shirt, which is
dope.
cool.
Yeah, that's right. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Big ups to Mexico getting the Gold Cup win over the United States. So Italy looking like they're working things out still. I mean, as Sonny pointed out last time, national teams don't spend a lot of time together, so that's why it's very important that these call-ups happen and these teams work out these kinks, because like I said, they looked good, but they just could not get that finish. Chucky Lozano with a couple of really good chances, but big stops by that Wales goaltender, prevented them from getting the ball in the net there. And I'm just saying, man, Mexico, I don't know when or if they'll ever get that World Cup, man, but sometimes they do this to me every World Cup. Every freaking World Cup. They'll never win a World Cup, but then when they win the group stage and they qualify, they get to the round of 16. It's like, oh, this might be it. This might be it.
Yeah.
No, it's never it. It's never it. They do this to me every time. So I'm just here for the misery. I love it. So, Donald, what did Team USA look like?
I mean, they played against Northern Ireland and they did really well. They won 2-1. There was a goal by Gio Reyna. And a penalty made by Christian Pulisic. They looked really good over the weekend against Northern Ireland. Obviously, it is interesting to see like how this team is gelling together. Given that half the team is somewhere all spread throughout Europe, which is the biggest factor now with the U.S. It's just that they got half the squad, if not most of the starters, out in Europe, and that I guess has never been seen. So it was really cool. Gio Reyna with the goal. Obviously, young buck. I believe he's I want to say 19.
16. What is he?
I think he's 18 or 19. I believe he's really.
He's definitely under 18. I feel like he's under 18.
No. He's at.
Oh, is he finally an adult?
Yeah, he is 18 exactly.
Nice.
So yeah. Because I remember when he got called up to Dortmund, it was a whole because he's an adult now and he proved himself and whatnot. But he got a goal. Pulisic got a goal. I know there was another international game they had prior where it was against Jamaica, where it was 4-1, and it was our boy Leggett got two the last two goals, 3 and 4. So that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, man,
they love the boy.
They do, and to me, it's just fun seeing USA with this current roster right now. I love seeing Dest and Pulisic and Tyler Adams and all these guys that are out in the different European clubs that are not just it's not just that they're in European clubs. They're in European clubs that are in the Champions League, in these different types of tournaments where you're with the big dogs. Weston McKennie with over there at Juventus. It's just cool. So to me, I always have fun watching them play on the field together, just because I've always feel man, look how they come together like the Avengers or something, But it's cool. I mean, so far
the Justice League.
The Justice League, yeah.
The Zack Snyder version.
But yeah, so it was cool seeing them play, man. I mean, they definitely got heart, and hopefully they could keep it together. And as long as everyone stays healthy, and that hopefully they can make a good run for the Qatar World Cup, that'd be great to see.
Oh man, I mean, I'm telling you, as much as we would love to see the Lakers Clippers Western Conference Finals, the UCLA USC Final Four matchup, USA Mexico, another elimination game, a little redemption again. I mean, it's happened once. Remember what happened last time? We don't need the USA fans to remind Mexico about what happened there.
Yeah.
And I've talked about it as much here as I was mistakenly rooting for the USA team on that one. I mean, even though I did come away with the win there, I'm in hindsight, being 2020, I'm I should have been rooting for Italy. Yeah. I really should have.
Yeah.
So I want that in, the semifinal or the final, right? That, if you could write it a script, you would have it in the final. So, man, you never know. But they could always win. If they can't win the World Cup, maybe they could win an Olympic gold medal, right, Donald? Or maybe not so much. Not the United States, anyway.
Not for the U23 United States team who were eliminated over the weekend by Honduras. So
were you divided at all in that game? I was gonna send you a message like a D-bot divided here. Who are you rooting for?
I mean, I always root for Team USA, but of course, I'm happy that my mother's national team also won. Team Honduras. I'm sure a lot of people in Honduras were happy that that they're gonna see their national team in the Olympics. So that's gonna be fun to see. I'll definitely be following it now because of that and seeing what these young bucks look like. I have no clue who's who on that team yet. I never really followed it like that. I did see that I believe El Salvador has that's my dad's team. I believe El Salvador has a couple guys that are in LAFC squad. I know they got their goalkeeper. Wow. Their goalkeepers with LAFC. So yeah, it is crazy to see like how some of these players are in the MLS, world too. So always keeping an eye out for that.
Oh, that's great, man. I mean, now don't tell me you're going to start rooting for LAFC just for their goaltender, right? Just for their goaltender.
Just this goalkeeper for sure. Who I don't even think is starting for them anyways.
Well, no, they got the Vermeer, right? Like they made a big deal out of signing a European goalkeeper.
That's right.
So I mean, LAFC's got some talent there. Good for them, man. You always want the rivals to be good too. For when you do beat them, you want to say at least we beat a really good team. You don't want to beat up on a terrible rival.
That's true.
Lakers, i.e., Lakers Clippers. I mean, you want the Lakers to be good. You want the Clippers to be pretty good. So when the Lakers beat them, you feel like, oh, we beat a good team.
Yeah.
So with that said, I think we move from the soccer pitch to the ice. What do you think, Donald?
Yes,
because
sir.
the LA Kings are still making somewhat of an effort here.
Mm-hmm.
As we record right now, they are not in a playoff spot. They are not very close to a playoff spot. They have 3 games in hand against the St. Louis Blues, who are currently in that fourth and last spot. However, if the Kings were to win out those 3 games, they would be tied with the St. Louis Blues. So as it stands now, not looking good for the Kings' chances, but they're trying to make a run. They made 2 big trades, and one just happened today. It was both for defensemen. So that shows you that they're at least looking defensively to pick up the slack. Because if you get goose eggs, you're gonna get some wins. Hopefully, right? They get Ottawa's defenseman Christian Wollin in exchange for Michael Matteo. And so the Kings fans, of course, on Twitter know. Those salty fans on Twitter, thank God Matteo's gone. He's a liability. Next, get rid of Curtis McDermott. Yep. And it's like, man, I like Curtis McDermott. But, I mean, the thing, though, with a lot of these Kings players, because they have so many young guys, it's like none of these guys are really standing out to me. The only guy that really stands out to me is defenseman Matt Roy out of a lot of these young guys. And, Blake Lizotte stands out to me, too. I like his effort out there on the wing. Amadio was a expendable piece for this young Kings team. So I'm like, okay, let's see what this Ottawa defenseman brings to the ice here, because that's where I like my Kings team defensively strong, and you build outward, right? You have a strong core, and if you look at their style, it's all counter. It's all counter punching. Mm-hmm. They allow the teams to come into their zone, and they break out on breakaways, or they try to at least. So that's their style. So I think they shore up a strong defense, and the Kings can hopefully bury the puck in the net, as we saw a couple games ago with a nice play, Jeff Carter breakaway goal that opened up the San Jose goalie. That was a really nice one, even though the Kings took a nail in that game. The Kings also picked up Brandon Lemieux from the New York Rangers. All they had to do was give up a 4th-round pick. So once again, Lemieux not lining up the stat sheet very much, only about 7 points in his 11 games there. But he's more of a grinder. I apologize. He's actually a winger, not a defenseman. Ottawa guy's a defenseman. But he's a bottom 3, usually a 4th-line guy. So once again, this is a grinder. A guy who's mainly gonna crash the boards for you, get it out to your wing, get it out to the centers, hopefully bury the puck in the net. So the Kings need role players, right?
Yeah.
Like I think back to the glory days of the Kings back in 2012, 2014. They had all those role players, and they would say they rolled 4 lines.
Yeah,
that means you got scoring from all 4 of your lines. You have 12 forwards. and you want all four of them to be productive. And you have role players like this guy, hopefully from Lemieux from New York, who's gonna be able to give guys like Andres Atadesiu some chances. That's who you expect to bury the puck. You don't expect a Brendan Lemieux to bury the puck, but you expect him to get the puck to these guys to score goals.
Yeah.
So I like these moves the Kings made. Let's see if they pay off in points, because the Kings desperately need points right now. It's getting down to the wire. We're about 2 months left before the NHL decides, let's just start the playoffs anyway. We're not going to make up any more games. Let's just make the playoffs. Although I did see the NHL said they're going to delay the start of the playoffs by 2 days.
Oh, wow.
So they're expecting COVID to eat into their scheduled playoff start time. So that shows you that they're allowing for those makeup games to happen. I mean, at this point, 32 games out of the 52 that have been scheduled. So there's about 20 games left. So I mean, we're over the halfway point here, Kings fans, and I don't know if you guys still #believe or not.
Yeah.
I mean, some of us do, some of us don't. But Donald, are you still believing in these Kings?
I am. I feel like I always felt that if there's a playoff spot they could take, it's the fourth one, and I'm still believing that they could still do it, man. They could still do it. All they have to do is just win, and St. Louis has to lose, and we're good.
That's all you need. It's simple. Just go out there and win the games. Just go out there and win. What's so hard about that, guys? Yeah. D-Bot, I mean, I gotta say, thank you so much for holding down the fort these last couple of days. You've also started a Discord channel for the West Box Score.
Yes.
And I'm sure you're gonna put it in the show notes here.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna put the Discord server on the show notes if you're interested in jumping on and just kind of chopping it up with us. We definitely kind of clown around as much as we can on the different stuff that's happening. I think you guys will love it. You get to see, I created channels for like pretty much everything we've ever discussed here on the show. And in terms of like different sports, we got our combat stuff, UFC, WWE, AEW. We got our basketball stuff, Lakers, Clippers, NBA news, NFL, the way we cover it here, Rams, Chargers, MLB, everything. And even the lifestyle stuff, man. Like, what movies are you watching? What movies do you not like? I know we were having a good one on the Justice League and, the 4-hour Snyder cut. And so, you know what I mean? We just jump on. We just kind of mess around. If you want to come on and kind of chop it up with us, definitely would love to have you guys on there. And then any feedback you have, I know we have like a podcast channel there so that you could talk about podcasts and any podcast, whether it's ours or the other ones that you like. And man, general chat where we just kind of, generally chat, and a lot of welcome to the new people, happy to see Alex, finally getting to meet him. It's like, they're just like, it's like celebrity status, it's like the cameo.
I couldn't believe it either. Big shout out to your buddy Billy Delgado over there on the Discord. He was very nice, man.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod, definitely. Billy D, what's up, dude? I'm so glad that you were able to say hello to us on the Discord and keep chopping it up with us. You're one of the active members there on the Discord. You're, of course, your cousin there.
Matt
my cousin there, Matt, dude.
Yeah,
so,
he's on there
it's
too.
good. It's good to see him, and of course, the other co-host of our show is Rick Esparza out there talking it up with all of us. And he's a big Discord guy from way back because he uses it mainly for his gaming.
Oh shoot!
I mean, it's not just for his other political views that he has on Discord. It's for gaming. I assure you, it's for the gaming. But that's what's great about Discord, man. We could talk about everything and anything that West Box Score related, not just the sports, but like Donald was saying, lifestyle stuff, movies, music, other podcasts that we're fans of, like the Fox Crate podcast, of course. That's a solid podcast. Sunday Models podcast, the Fox Crate. Check him out on Instagram right now, but he's yet to join our Discord, but I'm sure he will.
We got to pry him.
He's on Instagram at the Fox Crate. Yeah, we got to pry him on to over on the West Box Score Discord. If you thought it was crazy when I joined, man, when Sonny joins, it's going to be ridiculous. We're going to have to make a separate channel just for vinyl collection, dude. So, I mean, if we put that on the Discord,
we got to
definitely going to just be on that one exclusively vinyl.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But man, it's been great to catch up with you, D-Bot. It's been
Likewise.
great to be sure to follow us on Twitter at WestBoxScore. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at WestBoxScore. Be sure to follow our media partner, Blue Wire Hustle. They're on Twitter at Blue Wire Hustle. They are a good way to get started in the podcast game if you're interested in talking sports podcasts, just like we are here. If we can do it, I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Just trust me. You can too. You want to make a podcast about sports in maybe the Bay Area, maybe Slam Diego.
Yeah,
I mean, hit up Blue Wire Hustle. They'll show you how
Yeah.
to get it done, man.
for sure.
And be sure to stay tuned. Next week, we're going to give a breakdown of opening day, our reigning, defending world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. Man, that sounds nice. I'm very happy to say that. We're going to give a breakdown of their opening day. Clayton Kershaw, again, opening day starter. What do you think, Donald? Has that been officially announced yet?
I don't think so. I would have thought it would be, given that it's happening in 3 days. I need to be on it. I need to be on top of the Dodgers news right now. Last thing I saw was Trevor Bauer pitching with his eyes closed and, messing around and toying with the
Yeah.
batters, giving them the pitches. He told them what
It's
pitch was
so-
coming and still struck
Here
him
we
out.
go. You're gonna put me back on my Trevor Bauer soapbox. We were done. We were almost done here. We're about to say goodbye to our lovely listeners here who are listening to this podcast. But I got to give another Trevor Bauer update. So he invited a fan to opening day, which was great. Like a young child who was bullied online.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Dodgers thought it'd be good to have Trevor Bauer invite him to a spring training game. That's like inviting, that's like Snoop Dogg inviting somebody to telling you the troubles about smoking marijuana. Like, are you serious, dude? This is who you have talking about cyberbullying? The biggest cyberbully in all of baseball?
The
Come on,
irony.
Dodgers. Right? That's exactly what it is, man. And I guess it's publicity for the Dodgers to show, like, hey, he's turning a new leaf. He's not, though. And it's, man, I'm trying to be optimistic, right? Like, if I was not a Dodger fan and I just saw this guy doing these hijinks, like, would I want him on my team? And like, he's on my team, and I don't want him on my team.
Yeah.
So
That's
I'm
tough.
trying, man. I'm trying. I just want him to realize his hypocrisy. Like the hypocrisy of you inviting a child who's being cyberbullied onto like the Dodgers spring training
Yeah.
games, and like, oh yeah, you could, get over cyberbullying, blah blah blah, because that's the message I'm sure he was saying to this child, right?
Yeah.
And that's an important message to say. Don't get me wrong, but this is the guy you're having say that message, a cyberbully.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you could have had Justin Turner, you could have had Cody Bellinger, any other Dodger than Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
And it would have driven home like, oh, great Dodger. And I love a lot of the comments on that post is like, Dodgers world class organization, way to go, guys. And like, do you not know who Trevor Bauer is? Do you not know like who this guy is? Like, he can't be doing this. He can't be the one doing this. But once again, I hope it's a way for him to make amends and just realize how he uses social media negatively at times. Because I do enjoy watching him positively. Like, he has a whole YouTube channel where he's talking about like the behind the scenes spring training stuff that he's up to, which is great. As a baseball fan, it's cool to see that. But then when you see him on Twitter acting a goddamn fool, like, what are you doing, Trevor? Come
Yeah.
on. You represent a world-class organization. Act like you got some class.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and mind you, it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
I mean, I work for a world-class podcast here, and sometimes I don't even show up, so I really shouldn't be talking about that. I shouldn't be throwing stones in the glass house sometimes. But luckily, I have a world-class organization with teammates like Donald, D-Bot, and Sonny Amato who can show me the way.
Yeah.
So I only hope that Justin Turner, Max Muncy, the Cody Bellingers of that team can show Trevor Bauer the error of his ways.
Yeah.
And make amends. Come on, guys. Come on, Dodgers. This is West Box Score. That's it for us this week. See ya.
Later.